So I was with a company once that wanted to bring in a giant inflatable T-Rex dinosaur and shaved ice for the staff. Great, right? Funny.
I know. Where do I apply?
Yeah, we love shaved ice. We love it.
Yes.
However, the reasoning behind that was honestly quite grim. So the story goes that they actually wanted to lay off about 7% of the staff, which, no, it's not a lot, is it? Nope, sure it isn't. But to celebrate and tell everyone else that they were safe, they wanted the owner to dress up an inflatable T-Rex costume. I guess he had one. I don't know. And bring in a shaved ice truck to celebrate. And I said, now, and they wanted this all to occur the same day. Please listen. They wanted to let these people go that morning and then that afternoon have the celebration. And I said, skirt, I'm sorry, but do you realize how that will look? And they said, well, yes, but we're celebrating the people that are safe. I shit you not. I had already put in my notice. That was my last day. I said, I will not participate in that. That is the worst thing I've ever heard. And I didn't work there after that day because that was the scariest thing. And I did check in. That did occur.
They had the party?
Yeah, they had right the same day. I said, if anything, do it like a month later. Don't have it the same day because then the buzz is going to be going around that you laid off these people.
The T-Rex. Why the cause? What if he got in it early? It was a man, you say? He?
Mm-hmm. It was a man. Mm-hmm.
What if he got in it early and these people are, clearing out their desks, shuffling, tears in their eyes, and then what the fuck? You see a T-Rex.
There's a dinosaur walking around.
What?
I literally was like, I will be no part of this. I'm like, this is the worst thing I have ever heard. Plus, also telling people they're safe, like that's supposed to make people feel good.
They're just wondering when it's their turn next. And then you bring them all together in a carnival setting to all talk.
Exactly.
I mean, like,
shaved ice? Like, that's going to make me feel better?
It's like Leigh's dream.
I was going to say that's like my Thomas J. Henry dream, where they did the layoffs. Thomas J. Henry announced them. And then there was a carnival in the parking lot with rides, remember?
Yes. And this was recently, guys.
That was real. Oh, my gosh.
This was recently. I'm not kidding. I had already put in my notice anyway. I had given a month. And I was like, nope, I will not be a part of this. They wanted me to handle the layoff piece.
Oh,
And what? And then go eat shaved ice with y'all?
Thank you for that. Because it is. There's this inclination that when you do a layoff, they want to rip that Band-Aid up, but then they want to give that assurance to everybody else left behind. Reassurance, communication, all of that, but also recognizing there's a real grieving process for those that have been let go, those that remain. No one is going to feel like a celebration. They certainly aren't going to want to celebrate publicly. It's so weird. And but that's why you need these good, invisible HR people to tell people it's a bad idea. And sometimes leaders will still not listen.
Yeah, you see that? They keep going on and doing whatever. But Jamie, you make like a really great example of the point that I love to make. And that is give them the notice period they deserve.
Mm-hmm.
And people are always like, oh, well, you don't want to burn bridges. You know what? Sometimes you do. Sometimes it's important to burn a bridge so that it doesn't exist anymore, so you never cross it again. Like, you know what I mean? To protect and save yourself. Not all bridges should be recrossed. You know what I mean? That to me is kind of an old school way of thinking, and you can be polite and you can be respectful and professional, but protect yourself first and foremost. Look how toxic that would have been for you and how gut-wrenching and just a horrific experience for you to go through that. And so I just kudos to you, shout out for protecting yourself.
Although I kind of wish in my mind that you had not quit on that day and you said, I'm not going to do it. And then they fired you and then you applied for unemployment and then you went to the unemployment hearing and you were explaining to the unemployment board. And if you just recorded that, I know you already have millions and millions of followers on social media, but if you'd recorded that unemployment hearing and then I'm sorry, what did they do? And then the company brings the
my
evidence
God.
in.
Yeah, flings the tea bag.
You would have had even more millions of followers on social media. But that's why I do like, in situations like that, people hearing of these examples to know your gut instinct sometimes is a terrible one. And listen, when your HR professional tells you something's a bad idea, listen.
Got great ideas, but no idea how to build a website? Get Bluehost. Their AI design tool creates high-quality WordPress sites super fast. Whether you're a blogger, influencer, or launching a side hustle, Bluehost helps boost your growth with built-in marketing and e-commerce tools. Upgrade to cloud to get 100% uptime and 24/7 security to stay online all the time. Why wait? You've got the vision. Make it real. Visit Bluehost.com to get started.
Deep in the ocean, an orca pod is on the hunt. But these aren't your average orcas. These guys are organized.
Marketing team, did you get those social media posts scheduled for the SEAL migration?
Aye, Captain. We even have an automated notification for all pod managers when they go live.
They use Monday.com to keep their teamwork sharp, their communication clear, and their goals in sight. Monday.com. For whatever you run, even orcas. Go to Monday.com to dive deeper.
Shifting gears, shall we kick off our meeting? I think we shall. So first things first, we're going to do our cringe corporate speak per usual. And today, Ashley has that covered. So thank you. And then we are going to pivot into our hot topic of the meeting, which is, so you didn't get your dream job. Now what? What do you do now? How do you move on after that sort of disappointment? You had your heart set on something. So I'm sure we will share some personal examples as well as some tips and tricks for what to do next. And then, as always, questions and comments at the end. Ashley, what do you have from a cringe speak perspective?
I'll say yeehaw, because this not just because Leigh's from Texas, but because this week's cringe corporate speak is there's a new sheriff in town.
Ooh.
Cue the Spurs, cue the
Chaps, assless chaps.
And where you tend to hear this is when a new leader comes either into an organization or over a team and is trying to disparage the prior leader and, and say, I'm here, things are going to be different, and set the tone that way. Have we heard this, ladies?
Yes, for sure.
Yes.
You know what would be funny? If how you see sometimes, I drove by one just the other day where you're driving by a business and it says under new management. If the new manager put under new management on their door.
Oh gosh. Dang. Yeah, there's a new sheriff in town. Have I heard a leader say that when they're new?
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. I've definitely heard things are going to change around here. And then other people saying, well, apparently there's a new sheriff in town. Yeah.
There's a new sheriff in town. Yeah. Yeah.
I've heard someone say this about themselves.
Oh my gosh.
Cringy.
Oh my God.
But it wasn't inside an organization. It was when I was a brand new law firm associate, and we went to a lunch and learn by the Atlanta Bar Association Labor and Employment section, and it was the new regional head of the EEOC that came in.
Gosh. No way.
This was 20 years ago. I'll never forget it. And he said, I'll tell you, there's a new sheriff in town. And it was about how they would not be cooperating so much with management side employment firms, such as what I worked at. And so, of course, I in my mind am hearing it just like a new person in cringe corporate speak and think that seems very severe. And didn't have the backstory, hadn't worked with the EEOC either way. And, in the legal environment, I can tell you this, having since worked not just with the EEOC, but with opposing counsel back and forth, rarely are you going to have good outcomes when you're an asshole. And so this is what I'm talking about for lawyers, not just this head of the EEOC who was a bit intense, but but when you're a lawyer, management side law firms tend to do this a lot and come in and be a jerk. It does not help. I did not do this in my practice, but so it said this, and of course these law firm partners, I think in their mind were puffed up. Also, they were probably thinking, ooh, more legal fees. Here we go. But because new sheriff in town also means it's going to be tougher around here. And So
Yeah, y'all have had it too easy around here, so I'm gonna,
Exactly.
I feel like there's going to be a duel with guns and yeah.
Oh man.
it just means there's going to be more side texting and people have to hide their fun and lives outside of work more and they're quiet quitting and, going open.
Gosh,
to work.
I'll never forget when I left a job and people started texting me or calling me to tell me that, oh gosh, the person that replaced you, Leigh, like she's a real hard ass. Like she keeps saying things and it contradicts what, you had said and the precedent we had had. And she keeps saying, well, Leigh's not here anymore, is she? Like I'm in charge now, which is the same sentiment, right? She all but
Yes.
said, there's a new sheriff in town. I'm like, ooh, burr, icy. Oh, good for her, though, making her mark,
Yeah, she lifted her leg to pee.
Exactly.
Do you ever wish that you had an HR legal bestie in your pocket? 650 is just that. Your trusted, always available ally for your employment law questions, minus the hefty price tag of a lawyer. Compliance may not be your favorite chore in HR, but it's important and it's hard. But 650 is here to make it easy. With 650, managing multi-state HR compliance is a breeze. Their tools help you to understand complex state laws and craft compliant documents effortlessly, but also keep everything up to date automatically. They have a comprehensive "What's the law in this state" library to a 50-state employee handbook builder. 650 turns compliance into convenience. So, HR pros juggling multi-state teams, simplify your compliance today. Visit 650.com/besties. That's SIXFIFTY.com/besties and discover how to stay ahead with 650's seamless solutions.
Here's something I'm really looking forward to as the weather turns cooler. Football games. Remember, I went to a state school. Pumpkin spice lattes, soup. I love a creamy soup. And slipping into a cozy sweater from Quince. Quince is known for their Mongolian cashmere sweaters from $50. And it's not just that. All Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. That's right, less. That includes beautiful leather jackets, cotton cardigans, soft denim, and so much more. In fact, I have this adorable, cozy blush pink hoodie that I am obsessed with. Even though I'm in Texas and it's still going to be a while till it gets cool outside, it's freezing inside. So that is my go-to. Love. So get cozy in Quince's high quality wardrobe essentials. Go to quince.com/HRBesties for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/HRBesties to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/HRBesties. Well, shall we shift to our hot topic? I know we have a hard stop today, don't we? Jamie does, of course. She has
Yes.
places to be and people to see. But today we are going to talk about the disappointment of not getting your quote dream job, what you think is your dream job. What do you do now, right? You may feel lost and obviously disappointed and perhaps upset. How do you move on, right? So, question for you all, has this happened to you? Has this happened to you? Ashley, Jamie, has that happened?
For sure. Like what I thought was going to be my dream job, right? But maybe you get there and the grass isn't greener. Or maybe, you I don't know. It's like one of those things where something else happens, maybe. I don't know. There's just the sheer disappointment because maybe you built it up in your head. Maybe you went through 14 rounds and you really thought you were waiting on that offer. Heather.
Exactly. Yeah, I've had that.
Like you were waiting on that offer or, it's so frustrating. And then it never comes. And then it's like, okay, well, I did something wrong. I said something wrong. I answered something wrong. But really, you have to take a moment to reflect that maybe that just was not the job for you right then.
Mm-hmm. Sage advice. Ashley, has that happened to you?
It has. It really is why I really started Manager Method. I'd flirted with it and I'd had it. I had the domain. I'd registered it. All the things, had started working on it, but I always held myself back thinking, well, there's so much certainty in working also for a job. This can be a side hustle. And so I had applied for a legal and employment law role at a known organization, and I thought this was it. And my neighbor knew people that had worked there. I mean, I was putting in the words. I was preparing so much. I told people about it. And so I found out I didn't get it by a friend whose former colleague had gotten that role. And I just felt so crushed because I thought this was it. And I was so embarrassed because I talked about it. And so my instinct was, well, I'm never going to talk. I'm not going to talk about it to people. And I'd say that if your instinct, when you don't get that dream job, live in your feelings for a bit, because it can feel really crushing. And don't let anybody tell you, like, don't worry about it. This isn't meant, like, you probably are going to worry about it. But I will say the instinct of, I'm never going to talk to people like this again. If you want to limit the number of people you talk about it because it's stressful to then tell those people, oh, I didn't get it, and have that conversation over and over, okay, fair enough. But one of the best things for me was the people that validated and said, like, it's okay. Like, your next steps are out there. It's okay. And so having that support, people, and almost everyone's been through a process where they didn't get the job. And so people will give you that validation and that love and support. Isolating yourself further and going within your turtle shell really isn't as productive. But knowing what I wish I could tell myself at that moment is, you are at your lowest of low, but you are about to create a new opportunity for yourself, and be so thankful you did not get this job. Because the thing is, a dream job, like, if I was like one number off winning the lottery, then yeah, I'd be pretty damn sad about that. And I would be very sad for years to come, because that is an easy ticket, except for all those terrible stories about what happens to lottery winners. But a dream job is still a job. And the jobs that you feel like, I've worked for some very well-known organizations. There's a lot of burden that can come with that. But like, I worked at KFC. I can tell you the people that would reach out to me and be like, my KFC's out of chicken. And I'd be like, okay, well, I'm on a rotation. I'm managing IT security contracts for vendor management for KFC. So like, I can't help you with that. But like, or if you're in like a group, like if you're in HR, people like, does anyone have a contact at this company? I have an airline issue, like, dream jobs are still jobs, and all the shit still comes with it. And so, you'll be okay, but so relish in that, and just mark for yourself, whether it's a calendar reminder, a year from now, 2 years from now, 6 months from now, to think about, am I still that devastated I didn't get that job? Yeah. And that answer 100% of the time has been for me, no, oh my God, I'm glad I didn't. So
yeah. I feel really fortunate because I had a disappointment like this really, really early, before I even started my career, so I went undergrad straight into grad school for my first master's, and I was applying to HR leadership development programs, which, for those of you that don't know what that is, it's like an accelerated learning program that's like 2 to 3 years. You rotate jobs every 6 to 8 months or a year, depending on how the program is structured. And so you can try on different facets of HR. And so I really, really wanted to work for Chevron. I'll just flat out say who it was, because I have nothing but love. But because their assignments were international, and that was very important to me, having never left Texas and whatnot, and I really wanted to experience that. And so I got the interview. They flew me out to headquarters, had a brilliant couple of days interviewing, right? Met some incredible people. I gave it my all. And a week later, I got a call. I was so excited. But that quickly changed because they were like, sorry, you didn't get it, right? The leader of their HRLP program told me, God, you know what? You are so brilliant, but you were the only one that didn't have work experience. And that was the clincher there. And I'm like, well, why did you even fly me out and interview me and tease me, And he's like, well, because you're just so brilliant, like on paper, and we just enjoy you so much. But everyone we went with, had previous work experience, like literally average like 5-7 years, here's me with nothing. And so disappointed, yes, but what a learning experience to know, sometimes other people are more qualified, and that's okay. Sometimes other people are a better fit, and that's okay. Like, my time will come, my fit will present itself, and maybe that wouldn't have been the best thing for me. Who knows? It's not where I'm going next, and just kind of sitting with that. But me having that disappointment, like early like that, really, really helped me, because it just like changed and shifted my perspective on interviews. Like, that's where I learned, okay, it's a two-way street to interview. It's, it's okay if I don't get it. Oh, it's more about fit. Oh, it's more about, so I learned a lot right there, which has helped me since.
Exactly. And I think one thing we do is we make it personal, and it's not personal. It really isn't. And it's remembering it's a business decision. And there are people that are more qualified or have more years experience, or maybe have the direct experience that they need to fill this role. So I think a lot of times we take it personal, and it's really not personal. And it's hard to remember that in the moment when you're crushed.
Yeah. I mean, it's personal for you because it's your experience, but it's not your fault.
Well, of course.
They're looking for something like you're looking for something. And sometimes relationships don't work, right? So
you get to choose. Look, when something happens to you and that the decision has been made by somebody else and you can't control it to get that job, and that's not going to happen. Okay. You get to choose what you do next. And some of that can mean really thinking to yourself, okay, what did I learn from this experience? And what do I want to do next? And that's, as I've matured in my professional career, it was being able to take that feedback. And sometimes you hear that feedback and you think, okay, well, I don't know if that's really true. How can I articulate that differently? Or maybe these people really aren't my people if they think that. At other times, it can feel personal if it's something like Leigh said, like you need working experience, or they end up going with an internal candidate. And you're so pissed because you're like, why are you wasting my gosh blessed time by making me go through this hole if you're going to go with someone you had originally, or you're going to require something that you knew I didn't have at the outset. And that can make it so rough. And so that's where I think the flip side to that is, okay, now, but I'm in this situation and I get to choose. So I can either fire them a note and be like, you wasted my damn time. Okay, that might feel good in the moment. It's probably not the most productive. You can do nothing. Also completely fair. But you can think, okay, now I've had these relationships. You may have contact with people that the vast majority, the thousands of people that applied didn't get to the step that you got to. And so another step of maturity, like I'd had a candidate, I'd interviewed for a role internally, and they did not get the role, and they'd reached out, and it was a very polite. We've recently talked about ChatGPT. This is a great thing. You can use ChatGPT. If I didn't get this role, I thought this was my dream job, but I want to come up with, like, how can I reach out to this person? And it can help you take this word salad I just said and have a reach out to say, to really benefit that. And so creating those, choosing what to do with those relationships. Again, if it's someone and you're like, at the end of the day, like, I thought this was a dream job, I don't vibe with these people, fair enough, leave it alone. But if you want to build that connection, have it, because that person may have an opening down the road, or they know other people. The webs of career quilts can weave, and people remember when someone went out of their way and had that professional maturity to understand this role, this time was not for them, but you make the most of your opportunity, whatever that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, you can ask for feedback, but just understand that it's not owed.
I'm going to challenge you a little bit on that. Yeah. I will say, because I think it's when you have someone, it depends, when someone's applied to things like that, when people have gone through the interview process, and I know organizations won't do this sometimes because they're afraid of lawyers, of like liability. But I do think organizations owe people feedback. If you're at a point when you've had an interview and you've invested your time.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in round 14 interviews.
Yes, which don't do that, but yes.
After one phone screen, no, I'm sorry.
No, that's you will see that. Yes,
absolutely not.
That's another level of professional maturity. I agree. But I think just a sense of giving them that, but just thinking and the way you can phrase that, even if it's not asking for feedback, but saying, these are the aspects I really liked about the job. This is what I've realized having gone through the process. I really appreciate our connection. I'd love to periodically keep in contact. And as you see things that you might think of better align, or if you think there are areas where I can strengthen myself to be ready for that next opportunity, I appreciate that. And, taking the time to say that.
Yeah. See, that goes a very long way. Like you already mentioned, Ashley, but it's so true because just remember that behind every job, there are real people. The interface is cold and sterile. Everyone's cussing out the talent acquisition system and all of that. But behind each job is a different recruiter and a different hiring manager and a different HR person and all those different interviewers and you name it, right? And although it's, the decision perhaps isn't personal per se, you do create those personal connections and you can double down on that if it's something you really want, and keep that connection and keep them warm and, say, keep me in mind for other roles. And they will make those mental connections. Well, not this job, but my colleague is a hiring manager over here, and they will make those real connections, and it's all about networking, right? What do they say? Like 90+% of jobs are obtained that way, and no lie. And it's things like this, that Ashley was describing. It really, really goes a long way. And for me, that's absolutely a best practice. Any other best practices when, you get that disappointment of, losing what you thought was your dream job?
Just know there's a new sheriff in town. It's not going to be you, but you can be the deputy. You get to choose the boots that you step into.
Oh, man. I love that. You could choose the boots. If you're a pet parent like me, you know about Chewy. And when they say they have everything you need to keep your pet happy and healthy, they're not messing around. To keep them happy, Chewy has over 100,000 products from all the name brands my pet loves at prices I love. Food, treats, beds, you name it, they have it, and it gets shipped directly to your door in 1 to 2 days. And not just for dogs and cats, birds, fish, reptiles, and more. For me, though, I have a little kitty that I creatively called Kitty. Very easy to remember, and she loves the treats from Chewy. And they were so easy to select and get shipped fast. Chewy has everything you need to keep your pet happy and healthy. And right now, you can save $20 on your first order and get free shipping by going to chewy.com/HRBesties. That's chewy.com/HRBesties to save $20 on your first order with free shipping. Chewy.com/HRBesties. Minimum purchase required. New customers only. Terms and conditions apply. See site for complete details.
Hack the busy season. Let Every Plate save you time and money with $2.99 meals. Give your budget a break this fall with affordable recipes from America's Best Value Meal Kit. Indulge in flavorful variety with Every Plate's rotating menu of 26 weekly recipes you can count on to be delicious. Are you juggling a busy schedule like me? Kids have to be at this activity. There's a game, there's practice, etc. Every Plate's tasty, no-fuss recipes and pre-portioned ingredients are delivered directly to your door. Save yourself a trip to the grocery store and you can add grab-and-go snacks and easy-to-assemble lunches for your weekly box. With affordable dinners for just $2.99 per serving on your first box. Focus on making fall plans, not planning meals, with dinner options ready in 30 minutes or less. So join Every Plate today and pay $2.99 per meal, plus get 50% off your first box for all box sizes. Get this amazing deal by going to everyplate.com/podcast and entering code BESTIES299. That's code BESTIES299 at everyplate.com/podcast.
The only other thing I'd like to mention on this is that it is totally okay to be disappointed. It's okay to be depressed. It's okay to just sit in it and just feel it. And I'd encourage you to just feel it, because it will probably, push you to not feel that way again. and it'll help you process it so that you can move on and can move forward. But don't stop taking the risks, because you're going to get 99 no's, but you just need that one yes. So just keep putting yourself out there and again, feel all the feels. It's okay to be disappointed, because it sucks when that happens. But one day, you'll get that yes, and it'll be a beautiful thing. And then, like Jamie said, the grass isn't always greener. You'll get into that job, and be like, holy shit. No.
Yeah.
No. It'll all be great. But you can have more than one dream. You can have tons of different dreams, so stay flexible and stay as positive you can. You know what I mean? Like keep forward thinking, future thinking. It'll all work out. Now, to that point, any questions or comments, ladies? What do you got?
So this comment is not actually related to our topic. It was kind of related to our cringy corporate speak. So I was thinking, the new sheriff in town, I was thinking about a duel. And then I was thinking, what really feels like a duel in corporate is when you re-forward the message that you were accused of not sending.
Fact.
That email. Oh,
yes,
I love
satisfaction.
it. It's like,
yes.
Fuck you, bitch.
It is like a corporate shank, right? Like, stick it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You didn't send it. And then you CC some people on top,
Only because they did first. They did the reply all and called you out, right? So it's like, oh, well, per my email attached here, that was sent, whatever.
For sake of clarity.
Oh, exactly. And ease, I've attached it for you.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. But that is like a corporate bitch slap, isn't it? I love it. Ashley, what do you got?
You always want to pause maybe on sending a message to someone that you've interviewed that didn't give you the job. You don't really want to react so emotionally, because you want to reflect on it, and you always want to think about moving that ball forward. And if you are really frustrated, it's probably not going to do that many beneficial things to you to call them out. But I was thinking about a message to that job, because it was now almost 4 years ago, 3-4 years ago. And I just wish I could tell them I wanted this job so desperately, and I thought this was my dream job. And I thought if I got this, it would change my life. I thought this would be the pinnacle. I thought this would define me. And when I didn't get it, and I found out I didn't get it by a friend of a friend, and felt absolutely crushed and embarrassed and frustrated, and why did I waste my time? That was at the lowest of the low. But I have moved on to the highest of my high, and that rejection, I was able to control what I can control, and turned it into now where I've found my absolute professional purpose in life, and I am the best version of myself. And so that rejection may have been a quick decision for you that you send to the recruiter or whatever, let her know. I already know. But that has been defining for me, and I have made the most of that opportunity. And I just want you to know that I, like a phoenix, have risen from the ashes of that rejection.
Yeah, so get fucked, Glenn.
And just say thank you. Right? Thank you for not offering me
Thank
that
you.
job.
I will say, actually, because of course, that's what I said, I know the person that ended up getting it. They ended up leaving the job after like less than 2 years. And that was not a dream job for that person or otherwise. But I heard from a colleague there that they said, should we reach out to Ashley? Do you think she'd be interested now? And the person said, no, I think she's really good with what she's built. And so, but they did tell me that. And so that was like the icing on the cake. And I was like, you know what? It's all right. It all worked out for the best.
See, you got justice.
I got my justice. I got my justice.
Yes. Oh, gosh. See, look at that. Perception is reality. Well, not a question from me, but just a quick comment. I had a mentor tell me once that you can tell a lot about a company, its workforce, an employer by two things, right? So very, very important to visit an organization, right? We're talking about kind of interviewing here, losing a dream job and all of this. But he said there's two things to look out for, right? The first thing is look at the parking lot, look at the condition of the vehicles, look at the years of the car, right? Look at if there are newer cars that are well maintained, that is a sign of equitable, potentially, compensation, solid market compensation, and people having the time to do repairs, believe it or not, right? Like there's some sort of balance within the workplace. And then also look at the color of the clothes people are wearing. Now, this is less easy, right? In like a law firm or something, everyone's in a black suit, but there you go when it comes to work-life balance, right? I mean, there you go, right? There's a lot to be said in that, but are people wearing patterns? Are people wearing vibrant colors? Because that could be seen as an expression of self, belonging, fit, but also joy, high morale, engagement, et cetera, because they feel good to come in color. So I always thought that was so fascinating, and that is absolutely something that I look for anytime I would visit, like a location that I was supporting wherever, right? Or when I was interviewing. So again, is it your dream job or not? You show up, everyone's in black and beat up trucks. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So it may not work out for the best after all, you just think so, from the outside looking in.
I'm like, well, fuck, I drive a 10-year-old car and wear black so I look skinny. Well, fuck.
Just need to wear a name tag that says that as an explanation. So when people are interviewing, they see, oh, okay. Oh, clear communication.
Yeah, I swear. Company's fine. It's just I'm a cheap ass.
Company's fine. I'm just frugal and trying to look skinny.
It's fine. Don't worry about me. I'm just out there living my life. Respect, Jamie. I want to work with her.
Right. But isn't that clever? I thought that was interesting.
I'm going to sit on that.
I know. Yeah, something to think about there.
I'm going to be honest. I hate it.
You hate it?
I do. I hate it. I feel like it's very privileged to say that. Just in the industry I've worked with, I hate it. I like a visceral reaction for me, to be honest.
Oh, well, this is someone who worked in labor relations for 40 years, who is a CHRO, so he did all the site assessments
I don't like it.
For a large organization. And it was very telling because they could actually relate to the sites that were underpaid, that they had to bring up substantially versus on just kind of visuals and observations like that, So, if my people don't have time to fix their cars and they're all in beat up cars that are literally falling apart, which I've had before, I look at the pay. Oh, yeah, guess what? The people at the gas station down the street are paid more, So those were signals for me as HR.
Yeah, if you're using it for equity purposes, that's fine. But like if you're saying like why you want to be there, that I don't.
No, just an indication of morale and compensation, as an HR professional, something to look out for. But I'd say it would probably work too if you were interviewing. You know what I mean? Just kind of look around. Okay, take in all the observations. Keep your eyes open. You can learn a lot just besides just questions, Ooh, anything else, ladies?
I have a quick question before we end if your phone is really cracked, I was just thinking about this, do you go get it repaired or do you just live with it?
I don't know. Am I due for an upgrade?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I've always just bought a new phone.
Yeah, I once paid to have my screen repaired and it probably took me way too long to get it repaired. So anyway.
Well, I've just always had the insurance.
Oh, see, I don't have the insurance. It would just depend. Like, do I still have a year that I have this contract? Or yes, then I'm going to go pay the $100 to have it fixed. But if it's a couple months, I'll deal with it. If my finger isn't being shredded by the glass.
I know, because you bleed.
Because that has happened before.
Right. I was thinking about what might you see that's an indication of people not having the time. And I've been in a situation where I felt like I also didn't have the time to get my phone repaired. And so I was thinking to myself, I wonder.
Everyone's got a broke-ass phone. No one has time to go get them fixed,
Look at their fingers. Look at their bloody fingers from the shards.
Literally, everyone's got Band-Aids on their fingers. That's a good indication of a lack of work-life balance. Fair point. Oh, besties. Well, hopefully you don't have Band-Aids on your fingers here.
Just in the middle one. Wave it high.
Exactly. Thank you so much for listening, besties. Like, follow, share.